Do you like special liveries? Then you're going to really like this 103rd episode of Aviation News this week. Let's get started. What's up there, everybody? Citrus Aviation here with the 103rd episode of Aviation News this week. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I know some people have jokingly called it Aviation News this month or Aviation News this quarter, which is kind of what the show has turned into, but I would really like to bring it back to once a week, but we'll see if that happens. We're going to be covering news that happened during the summer and fall. Most of it is going to be fleet news, but there will be some route news at the end of the video about some airports I'm interested in that started some new operations. But hopefully next week we will have headline news. There's some interesting aviation accidents that happened, fleet news, and a lot more route news. So yeah, I am working on the next episode already. This one will be a ton of fleet news. So that being said, I want to give a special thank you here at the beginning of the video to all the photographers whose photos I'm using in this video. Their credits are linked down below and in the bottom left corner of the screen. I want to thank you all so much for letting me use your photos in this video. Some of these photos have been sitting on my desktop for like 3 months, so I do appreciate the patience from the photographers as well. So with that being said, let's get started with the video. Southwest Airlines has several interesting new special liveries, and we're going to start with 2 of them today. The new Tennessee one and the new Illinois one. I am doing some of these first several specials in groups because they make sense to put them together in groups. We're doing the Southwest ones, and there's some GOL special liveries, and then some Pokemon liveries. We're going to start here at the Southwest ones. These aircraft are on Boeing 737-800s, 737-8H4s. The first one here is Tennessee 1, and this aircraft is on November 8620 Hotel. It is a Boeing 737-824. It's been in operation for the airline for several years now. It's one of the older ones, and it now wears this Tennessee 1 livery. Now, this is the very first State 1 livery that Southwest has to be on an 800, which is very interesting. It should be noted that this and the next aircraft we're going to look at were both pulled out of service within the last 2 years because they had initially been on the Boeing 737-700. Many of those aircraft are getting older in their life, and so they're reaching the end of their life cycles. And so many of them are being either withdrawn from service and retired, or their leases expired, and therefore the livery could no longer be on the aircraft, as the aircraft could no longer be in operation with Southwest. Southwest's initial plan was to just repaint these liveries onto the Boeing 737 MAX 7. However, due to that aircraft's certification being delayed by a significant period of time, the 737 MAX 7 does not look like it'll be having any special Southwest liveries for about a year still. In fact, the FAA recently announced that it'll be fairly unlikely that the 737 MAX will get certified in 2023. Therefore, Southwest needs a temporary measure to be able to put these beautiful State 1 liveries on. Southwest's simple solution is to put these liveries on the Boeing 737-800. And so here we have Tennessee 1. This was formerly on a 737-700. It is now on an 800. And so here is the special livery. The second aircraft to receive a Southwest State 1 livery is November 8619 Foxtrot. It is the sister ship to 8620 Hotel, and this aircraft now wears the Illinois 1 special livery. This aircraft got painted on September 26, 2022, and can be seen throughout the entire Southwest system, as can, of course, Tennessee 1. These are both great liveries, and I think if you're interested in looking to see either of these ones, you can go find it at your local airport whenever it flies in. These are awesome liveries. The Tennessee 1 was more just transposing the older livery onto the 800, but the Illinois 1 livery, this livery is more stretched across the aircraft. As the livery has to fit on the 800, they had to stretch it a little bit to make the design work. So obviously when moving from one aircraft to another, there are some design changes that have to be made to make the livery fit on the aircraft. Tennessee 1 fit fairly simply. You just put the old logo from the 700 onto the 800, and then you just make the rest of the aircraft fuselage red. Illinois 1 was a bit more difficult because of the eagle graphic on it required it to be stressed a lot more, and therefore that resulted in a slightly different looking livery. I know some people didn't like it at first, but I knew it would grow on people because the old Illinois 1 was a great livery, and this one is great too. And so here is Illinois 1 now in operation. We move on to 2 special liveries operated by GOL. Now, this airline produces a ton of special liveries very regularly, and we're going to talk about 2 today. There's going to be another one that we'll talk about in the next episode, assuming I can get photos for it. The process to get photos and copyrighted material takes quite a long time, so these videos, when you see them, they've taken about 10 hours of work for each one, because getting the material for each video takes a long time, and then writing down and getting all the information as accurate as possible takes quite a while. So making these episodes does take a while, but I'm very happy to make these videos for y'all. But GOL's 2 special liveries that we're going to talk about today. The first one here is the Hogwarts Express, a livery on the Boeing 737 MAX 8. This aircraft is Papa Romeo, X-Ray Mike Romeo on the 737 MAX 8, first seen on the 20th of August 2022. And there are a lot of interesting special liveries that GOL does, but I think this one is really special. I really like the grayscale nature of this livery, how the MAX 8 is painted as this gray livery, and of course it has the famous Hogwarts Express from the famous Harry Potter movies and books. Pretty neat to see this livery, and it's a great livery to go catch if you're in South America. Another special livery that GOL has is their new Smiles livery. This livery was spotted on the 9th of September 2022 on Papa Romeo Golf X-Ray November. This is a 737-8EH, and it's a pretty cool livery. It has a purple and orange theme to it with pretty neat Smiles livery. I'm not exactly sure what Smiles supports, but it's a pretty neat livery, and I'm just happy to see an airline put a big smile on the front of an airplane again. That's really neat. There is a newer version of this livery as well on another aircraft, which we will cover in a future video. But GOL keeps producing quite a few specials, and this is another neat one right here. We have some competitors for worst liveries of the year upcoming with these Pokemon liveries. Pokemon is one of the most popular card collecting franchises in the world, and they have several video game adaptations of it as well that are all very popular. And as a result, no big surprise that Pokemon would eventually make its way into an airplane livery. Now, several of these I've covered over the years, but there are 2 new ones that came out recently, as there has seemed to be a resurgence in the popularity of the Pokemon franchise. This is a Pokemon livery made by Scoot, which is an ultra low-cost carrier. They're in the Southeast Asia market. This livery was spotted on the 6th of September 2022, and is on a 787-9 registered 9 Victor Oscar Juliet Juliet. And this livery is frankly rather ugly. I'm not a big fan of these artistically styled liveries with a lot of people and animals and characters on them. I generally think they're overcrowded and don't look that great. In addition, this color palette is terrible. It's a terrible color palette. Pastel-y colors can look really bad, and they look terrible on this one. In addition, you see the wing root has no painting on it. It's very clear they were intentionally avoiding painting any specials at all on the wing root, and it just stands out. It just looks so ugly the way they did it. I think this is one of the worst executed Pokemon liveries I've seen, and there have been a lot of bad ones out there. The next one is actually not such a bad livery. This is on an Airbus 321neo for China Airlines, spotted on the 30th of September 2022, and this is their new Pokemon livery on Bravo 18101 and Airbus 321-271neo. And this was actually the first A321neo, which I need to cover. There have been a lot of new airlines to pick up Maxes and Neos, which hopefully I'll cover in the next episode. But yeah, China Airlines now has the A321neo, the newest operator of it, and the first aircraft has a special livery. The aircraft had been in a standard livery for a couple months, but now it has this special livery, which for a Pokemon livery, or for a special one, this is actually executed really well because they managed to fit the livery with their brand in a way that makes a lot of sense. So they basically took their lighter colors, they have light pinks and purples, and implemented that into their Pokemon livery. And this one looks way better than the Scoot one. It doesn't look like just a bunch of characters. It actually looks like there was thought put into it. You can see the underbelly is sort of this school bus yellow color, and then we have this pastel-y pink and a pastel-y purple to make sort of 3 lines there. And then they have several characters and some type on it and things like that. This one actually doesn't look too bad, and I'm not disappointed in this livery. I think it's actually a pretty good livery for this style of artistic style, which is not my favorite type, but this livery actually looks pretty good. The Chinese Air Force has a new aircraft type. Many of you may be familiar with the Chinese Y20, which is somewhat of a ripoff of the United States Air Force C-17. In fact, in many ways, it is a ripoff of that aircraft type. However, they have a new variant of the Y20, and this one is the Y20U. And the Y20U is an aircraft that is meant to be a refueling variant of the Y20. Now, the Y20 is a cargo aircraft, but they were able to convert a version of it into a refueling platform, which is really neat to see. The very first ever Y20 seen publicly is this one right here, registered 20842, seen on the 25th of August 2022 at an air show. Pretty neat to see this aircraft, and China is demonstrating some of their newest technology, which is intended to compete with the Western countries. Next, we have a new special livery from COPA Airlines. Now, it's interesting that this livery has kind of gone unnoticed. Even though it's a really cool new livery, a lot of people haven't really talked about this one. Now, this is the new COPA Retro livery, representing one of their liveries from a long time ago. I do not know when this livery was in sales for COPA. I'm sure someone like yesterday's Airlines or somebody like that could inform me about this. But here is the new special livery. This is the COPA Retro livery, spotted on the 31st of August 2022. This aircraft is Hotel Papa 1841 Charlie Mike Papa, and is a 737-8V3 operated by COPA Airlines. Pretty cool aircraft. Really neat to see this retro livery. I really like retro liveries when they're put on airlines. They look really good, and the neat thing about them is if they look good in the old days on 707s, 727s, DC-8s, things like that, they tend to still look good on 737s, 777s, 787s, more modern aircraft like that. And so this is a really neat retro livery seen here on the 737-800 for COPA. Another really neat livery is this livery here, seen as the Black Eagle livery for the Saudian Air Force, for the Royal Saudi Arabian Air Force. Pretty neat to see this. It is an F-15C Eagle, registers 219, and a great photo here taken by the photographer, and a special thank you for allowing me to use this photo. A lot of really great photos and aerial photography like this is often not allowed for smaller creators like myself to make, but I really do want to thank the photographer for allowing me to use this photo. It's a really good photo. Really neat livery here in the Black Eagle livery. It's got black and this really awesome green and yellow color scheme that I really like. It's a pretty cool livery. Next up, we got a 747 operated by One Air. This aircraft was spotted on the 21st of September 2022. This is a 747-433 BOSF. It is a converted 747 into a freighter aircraft. Registers Golf Uniform November Echo Tango. Now, many of you may have noticed that some of these 747s don't last in deliveries very long before moving on to another operator, sometimes less than a year, and they tend to bounce around from operator to operator. With these 747s, they're often used and purchased by the airline for the purpose of single contracts. So the aircraft is acquired for the purpose of being used to fulfill a contract that their cargo company received. An example may be to transport diesel-electric generators from one place to another. Now, that contract may only last for 6 months, and therefore the aircraft may only be needed for 6 months, as the 747 has excellent heavy materials capabilities, and therefore it is ideal for the use of the mission of transporting heavy diesel-electric generators. It's actually one of the more common uses for these aircraft. But other purposes like humanitarian aid or military equipment, wind turbines, other things like that, other heavy industrial applications are often used for the 747. Therefore, you'll often see these aircraft bounce around from operator to operator, as these aircraft are older and they are ideal for contracts like this. So you'll see a lot of these 747s bounce around, and Fly One is another operator that acquired one of these 747s. I am not privy to the information of what they bought this aircraft for, but there's a very good likelihood that was for a specific contract. Next up, we have a new special livery for Aerolíneos Argentinas. This is for their national football team, promoting the team. Pretty cool to see. This aircraft is Lima Victor Foxtrot Victor Hotel on an Airbus A330-202. There are a lot of football liveries that have come out, as the World Cup this year is being held in December 2022, which is actually right around the corner. In fact, it's already started, being held in late November into December. Pretty neat to see that there are a bunch of these football liveries. This is the first of many that I'll be covering for the 2022 season. There's several for Qatar Airways, several for several other airlines that will cover as well. But a lot of these football liveries are taking the standard livery and putting some of the more well-known players of that team on the aircraft, the football name, a bunch of other little things like that. And we'll be talking about some of those in the next episode because there are a lot of interesting ones that have come out recently. Finally, we have a new regular livery for Aeritalia. This is an Italian-operated airline, and they operate 737-800s. Here is their new livery. This aircraft appeared on 9 Hotel Golf Foxtrot Papa. I believe this is actually the second aircraft to wear the new livery, but this is what it looks like. It's a 737-8 Hotel Lima. Pretty neat aircraft here, spotted on the 21st of October 2022. I believe all the aircraft will be fitted to this new livery, and it looks pretty cool. A neat representation of the country of Italy. So with that, we move on to route news, and I'm going to cover 2 interesting route developments: routes operating out of Raleigh-Durham, international routes, and then we'll cover some other new routes next episode. And then we're going to cover service into Cape Town, which has been commenced by United Airlines. We're going to start with the Cape Town service, as United Airlines started operations to Cape Town on the 17th of November 2022. They'll be operating 3 times weekly service between Cape Town and Newark on the 7879 and Cape Town and Washington Dulles on the Boeing 7879. These are pretty cool services, as this is United's first regular operations into South Africa. Pretty neat to see them operating the 7879 into the South African market. With the essential collapse of South African Airways, it has given the opportunity for new airlines to swoop into this market. United's first service into Cape Town was well received by the local inhabitants. It's really cool to see that. Delta Airlines also has service into South Africa with their service between Atlanta and Johannesburg, and it wouldn't surprise me if other airlines join this market as well. With Raleigh, it's a very expanding market. It was only a few years ago that Raleigh only had 2 or 3 international destinations. They were Toronto on Air Canada and London Heathrow on American Airlines, and then more recently Delta Airlines serving Paris. Now, it's really cool to see that there are some changes occurring in this marketplace of Raleigh, and how much Raleigh is really a market that is rapidly expanding. Raleigh is really a market that can sustain quite a bit of international operations, in my opinion, as it's been a very business market and upper middle class market with people who are willing to travel and interested in premium travel experiences. This gives opportunities for a lot of international carriers to come in. So some of the operations that have existed are Air Canada's operations to both Montreal and Toronto. Now, some of these services have gone upgauged. For example, Montreal is now on the CRJ 900, getting upgauged from the CRJ 200. I believe there is still one CRJ 200 flight a day, and the other is a CRJ 900. Meanwhile, the service to Toronto is 2 or 3 times daily on the CRJ 900 and the Airbus A220-300. Really cool to see mainline service between Toronto and Raleigh. That's great to see. In addition, Delta's service to Paris Charles de Gaulle has continued on the Boeing 767-300, and word is that Delta Airlines will be upgauging this route to the Boeing 767-400 for the next summer season in 2023, which is great to see. Meanwhile, American Airlines has brought back and has continued to operate service to London Heathrow on the Boeing 777-200. Really cool to see this service, and it's great to see that this flight is doing really well. The load factors have been very high, particularly in their premium economy and first class cabins. Some of the most exciting service, though, is the brand new service that started out of Raleigh. The first service started on May the 12th, 2022, and this was service between Reykjavik and Raleigh on the Boeing 737 MAX. Now, this is usually on the 737 MAX 8, but there are a couple of flights that are on the MAX 9. And it's really neat to see. I believe this is 3 or 4 times weekly service, but it's great to see a service. In addition, the newest service, starting on November the 17th, is service on Air Bahama to Grand Cayman. Great to see this service out of Raleigh. It's on the Boeing 737-700, and it will be one of the coolest services that Raleigh has. Great to see the Grand Cayman service on Bahama Air out of Raleigh-Durham. This is awesome service to see, and great to see this. Now, there are some updates that are going to be happening over the next several years. Of course, Delta is upgauging their service from Paris to Raleigh on the 767-400. That's great to see. In addition, there have been a lot of rumors about the possibility of an Amsterdam flight, which I do think will happen. I don't know when it will happen, but it seems very likely that in 2023, 2024, or 2025, Delta or KLM will launch service to Amsterdam. I would say it's most likely that Delta will launch this service. In addition, there has been interest, and basically Virgin Atlantic has said that they will operate service to Raleigh by 2026 was their target date. It looks extremely likely that this service will be on their A330neo, which will be cool to see if they actually do that service. But Raleigh to London Heathrow on Virgin Atlantic will be a great service, and I think it will be quite popular. In addition, there has been a lot of interest for a flight to Asia out of Raleigh, particularly due to the Triangle Research Park, which is one of the main leading research facilities in the world. This includes the development of vaccines and other medications that can help reduce the effects of a pandemic or a virus. Now, of course, this was very important during the last couple of years, and it seems extremely likely that a direct flight between the United States and either China or Japan through Raleigh is extremely likely. Now, there's been a lot of interest from either Air China or only Poland Airways to start this service. It's not known when or if this service will happen, but it seems very likely to me that a service between Raleigh and Beijing is very likely to occur within the next 5 years. And with that, we wrap up the news segment for this Aviation News This Week video. As per usual, I did want to talk about the channel a little bit here at the end of this video, because Aviation News This Week is often a time where I can talk about the channel and what's going on. I took this screenshot here that you're seeing a few days ago about how the channel has been performing, and I really want to thank you all so much for the support that you gave me on that one video that did really well. That was the how to build your own model airport video. That video did incredibly well. It's now got over 150,000 views. That's insane. I really want to thank you all so much for watching that video. I'm glad that you all enjoyed it, and I'll be hoping to make more videos like that. The airport videos, model airport videos in general, have been doing really, really well, and so I'll keep making them because you all keep watching them. I mean, that's generally how economics work, right? What people want, you make. So I'll keep making those videos, but I also will be working on more model review content and things like that upcoming. My top models of the year videos, a video that I'm very excited to put out, and I think y'all will really enjoy that. But yeah, just looking at some of these statistics, in a 1 month period, got 164.9 thousand views, 4.5k watch hours, 855 new subscribers, and I also want to thank y'all so much for 4,000 subs. But 855 subscribers in 1 month is something that I've never seen before on my channel. As you can see, it says a 770% more than usual, because normally I'm doing like 120 to 150 new subscribers every month. So I want to thank y'all so much for joining the channel. I know a lot of you who are watching this video are new to the channel, so welcome every single person. And of course, there has been a decent amount of money made. I know a lot of people actually like to hide how much money they make on YouTube, but I don't see any reason in not showing it, because it shows you what you can do. And for anyone who is interested in making aviation YouTube videos and for being successful, it is possible. I mean, look at this. The paycheck I'm going to get from Google for the month of November and October, because on October I didn't quite make enough to get a paycheck, is going to be about $500, which is pretty crazy. So how it works for YouTube is every single month you get paid based on how much money you made. So you get paid if you made $100 or more. And if you didn't make $100, that's fine. The money sits in your account until you have made $100. So let's say you made $40 in 1 month. Well, that's not enough to get a payout. So next month you make $80. Well, now you made $120, and then that combined payment will be paid out to you. So in October I made like $96 and something cents. Not quite enough to get a payout. But this month it's been well in excess of $300. It's actually going to be close to $400 by the time the month is over. And so as a result, I'll get a pretty big payout in December for the months of October and November. And that payout is usually paid about the middle of the month. So YouTube revenue comes in, it's a happy day. So I want to thank you all so much for the support on the videos. Really, just the number one way that you can support this channel if you want to help me make money is just to watch the ads and to click on the ads. You don't have to buy anything from the ads if you don't want to, but if you click on an ad, it does make a ton of money for me. So I really appreciate that. Of course, just watching the videos helps a lot too. And if you do want to help support the channel in other ways, I do also have an affiliate link through the Midwest Model Store where you can get a 10% discount on all its models. And in addition, you also help support the channel because for every order that you place, I receive a 5% commission fee on every single order, which I really appreciate. So it's great to see that. And it's cool to see that I have some ways of making money through this YouTube channel, which basically goes back to buying models and improving every single video that I make. So I really do appreciate all the support that y'all have given. Thank you so much for 4,000 subscribers and for the awesome month of November that happened. December is going to be a great month because usually in December, that is one of the better months in terms of ad revenue for YouTube channels. So I have a lot of special videos planned for December, and I'm looking forward to putting those out for y'all to watch. But yeah, really, really thank y'all so much for the support. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching these videos. And with that being said, that is it for this video. Aviation News this week is back, and hopefully I can bring it back every single week. So thank y'all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless you.